Here we go. Boom! Yeah. Hey, how you doing? It's Thundercloud here at the library of the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Welcome to Chillin Tuesday on the 21st of May, 2024. And poetry is my game. Yeah, you know what my mum calls me too, James. Something like that. Well, let's change it up. Yeah, I have to because I blew the lights out in the, well, not me, I didn't blow it out. The lights in the Seahorse Medicine Cafe blew out and the switch is gone, the trip switch, it's tripped. And so I'm out here in the library and I'm going to do a random reading tonight because I've been down to Armidale to the annual Rotary Book Fair, and I've come back with about $250 worth of poetry books, which is about, I don't know, about 20 or 30 or so, and they're all going into this, the Australian Poetry Library and Archive here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. So, you know, it's around about 2,500 poetry books here at the moment, and I've just had to extend it down here because it's just getting more and more and more. But if you're down there at Armidale at the Rotary Book Fair and you see some poetry books that you'd quick snaffle them, and if you'd like to donate them to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, it's very, very appreciated. Or if you're a poet that has a poetry book or a collection that you don't read anymore, send it to me here and we'll keep it in perpetuity for all Australians. So it's 144 Bradley St Guyra. But hey, let's randomly select, because that's what I'm doing tonight, a random selection out of the library of Australian and international poets, old and older and much, much, much older, and some new as well. I'm going to start with the one right in front of me here, Sean Neilson, because that's who I did last week and I've really been enjoying reading his poetry. But tonight it's just quite a random one. He's got a lot of poems on the theory of the violin. It's working, my new microphones. And this one, my love is like a violin. And as I said last week, he also really gets into the colours, using colour as a descriptor. My love is like a violin. In the full dark she feels and tells of a deep rest and quiet bells, of green joy running out and in, of sweet love in the honey cells. My love is like a violin. My love is like a violin. Her voice is like an opening flower on a green pool in a green hour, when water birds walk out and in, the green lakes laughing in a shower. My love is like a violin. My love is like a violin. Quickly she showed me I was blind. All children and all womankind, I could have kissed them cheek and chin, nor any sin could my heart find. My love is like a violin. My love is like a violin. On a blue day in the bleak June, when all the winter birds commune, and dreamily wade out and in, when the mild sun is like a moon, my love is like a violin. My love is like a violin, so airily she walks the blue. I know not where I'm wandering to, nor the strange heaven I am in. I am in love with sleep and dew. My love is like a violin. My love is like a violin, ere ever the red earth was formed, or a pale soul with love was stormed, ere the round earth could spin with her bright blood. My heart was warmed. My love is like a violin. My love is like a violin, pleadings of thunder, prayers of rain, music of moonbeams all in vain. Do I compare with her sweet din? She is an older prayer or pain. My love is like a violin. Wow, that's a really beautiful poem there. My love is like a Violin by Sean Neilson, and that's from the poems of Sean Neilson. I'm going to randomly select a book off the shelf here. Oh, wow. I've got The Angry Penguin, Selected Poems of Max Harris. Now, this is really interesting because Max Harris ended up in prison for printing obscene material, but it wasn't his. It was Ern Malley's, and it was a part of the Ern Malley affair. And just after, I think it was World War II, roundabout, I can't quite remember the date, there was James Macaulay and another poet. I wonder if it says here. They made up some poetry and said it was from a deceased digger called Ern Malley. And Max Harris published it in his magazine, The Angry Penguins. And then later on, it came out that these two guys, these two poets, had just made up this sort of free verse poetry to sort of, because take the mickey out of the free verses of the time, because what's his name, James Macaulay particularly, was really loved rhymed and meter poetry. And so that's the story. So The Angry Penguin, the selected poems of Max Harris, and we'll just get here we go, a random one out. The first one that I open, this one's called Duologues. Forward, the shy glance back, transfixed. Poor Mrs. Lot, the physical glass, and the fattening face talk to each other. Innocence, an old woman, in the very same grain and line, refracting to each other such obligations and terrors and the saltiness of death. Somewhere it fell, somewhere. Poor Paris, in bending, look up, and a rose stares down. The seasons of time reverse, and the flowers pity the pity of your span. It is hard to stand again. The wind swings north, due north. You're laughed at, indigestion. Time, whose pole you are, has no freedom. You can turn and turn, and in all this turning, see all things captive, but yourself. In great order and great innocence, we choose our spring and spin, but each and all of us, how graciously we die. So Duologues, that's by Max Harris. We'll do another random one out of this book as well. The I in me that I see in you. I have come to regard love as a vantage point for looking up or looking down. I've come to regard love as a subtle taint, a corruption of the real by the ideal. Love has seemed to me the oldest school tie, linking the man to the boy. Perhaps it is a cunning ploy used to deny the I in me that I see in you. What a cool poem that one is, hey? I really like that. The I in me that I see in you by Max Harris. Should I do another one? I want to do another one of his. Ascension, in memory of Stephen Murray Smith. In the heat of a dog day, the mind barks. in the eucalyptus dark. There is the smell of still, silence, and something grows with the words. The camellias wilt, and the little roses blow. In the cold of the hill is shortness of breath. Climb up, reach me, says death. It's dark ending, isn't it? In a way. But still, all the same, another beautiful poem by Max Harris from The Angry Penguin. Selected poems of Max Harris, published by the National Library of Australia in 1996 in Canberra. Okay, another random one, shall we? Over here. Oh, here we go. Omar Sakr. He's The Lost Arabs. This was released in 2019, this book. I got it in Nimbin when Omar came to Nimbin. Let me have a drink. And it was written for Candy Royale. Omar is Arabic. He's also gay. And Candy Royale, who had only passed away in 2009, and this book was written for Candy Royale, gone too soon but never lost, and she was a Palestinian lesbian activist. Yeah, it's also for his brother Muhammad, without whom I could not do it. So a little bit about Omar and the Lost Arabs, because he's a fantastic writer and a fantastic poet. Omar Sakr is a bisexual Arab-Australian poet. His debut collection, These Wild Houses, 2017, was shortlisted for the Judith Wright Calanth Award and the Kenneth Slessor Prize. His poetry has been published in English, Arabic and Spanish. In numerous journals and anthologies, he placed runner-up in the Judith Wright Poetry Prize and has been shortlisted for the ACU, Australian ACU Prize for Poetry, the Short Wine Prize and Fair Australia Poetry Prize. Omar's performed his work nationally and internationally, and he's a very good poet and very well, widely respected. All right, we'll get Citizen of. This is the one that I shall read you. Citizen of. One desultory howl is what I imagine singing out of the throat of the grey wolf, separated from his mate by a wall neither had dreamed of. There are so few of them left that it falls to me to dream of a muzzle unbothered by country, summoning the music of the lost wolves, understand territory, borders of lifted leg, but not of stone. Maybe the Americans will walk along the dirt and drench the invisible. Nobody consulted the wolf, spotted owl, jaguar, the thick-billed parrot, barred tiger, salamander, Mount Graham red squirrel, ocelot or armadillo, as to which passport they would deign to keep. Of course, they are citizens of everywhere, at least in part. Some species must move to live, and that means they must also have enemies. An angry landlord, a jilted lover, a neighbour who couldn't bear to be outshone or out-howled. So maybe Arizona's no good anymore, or Mexico is the go. For some, love is a destination to be winged toward or from. It's never where you originate. Others just want to eat or stretch warmth out another season. Scientists haven't measured or mapped the devastation a wall would trap in place, but the lights at night would lure millions of monarch butterflies to flutter topaz gold. no more, and fall to drape the earth like autumn leaves, bilingual beauties. I don't need to imagine their howl. Everyone will hear it echoing in time. Listen, it is ticking your ear even now. And this is produced by University of Queensland Press, The Lost Arabs by Onalaska. And I'll put a link to it in the description, so if you'd like to buy it, check it out. Next, what have I got for you? Oh, I don't know, because it's a random night, isn't it? Yeah, a random one. Okay, should we go high or low? We'll flip an invisible coin. It says go low because it landed on the floor. It's invisible. Oh, yes, Les Murray, The Vernacular Republic, another poet who only passed away in 2019. Oh, my. Yeah, wow. This was written in 2019. This guy passed away in 2019, the same time as Candy Royale. Les Murray, one of our great modern poets of the 20th century and the 21st century, really. Well, he lived into up until it. So this is Les Murray's The Vernacular Republic, poems from 1961 to 1981, published by Angus and Robertson, Modern Poets, here in 1989, printed in 1979. Of course, it was they've added to it over the time. Immigrant, Voyage. My wife came out on the Goya in the mid-year of our century. In the fogs of that winter, many hundred ships were sounding. The DP camps were being washed to sea. The bomb sites and the ghettos were edging out to Israel, to Brazil, to Africa, America. The separating ships were bound away to the cities of refuge, built for the age of progress. Hull down and pouring light, the tithe barns, the cathedrals, were bearing the old casts away. Pattern bombed out of babyhood, Hungarians became Swiss. The children heard their parents. Argentina or Australia? Less politics in Australia. Dark Germany, iron frost, and the waiting many weeks, then a small converted warship under the moon turning south, way beyond the first star and beyond Cap Fenestra. The fishes and the birds did eat their heave offerings. The Goya was a barracks mess queue, spotlights tower crossing the middle sea. In the haunted blue light that burned night long in the sleeping decks, the tiered bunks were restless with coughing demons' territory. Out on the sea of sweat, the Red Sea, the flat heat melted even, dulled deference of the injured. Nordics and Slavonics paid salt tax day and night, being absolved of Europe. But by the Gate of Tears, the barrack was a village, with accordions and dancing. Fräulein, kennen Sie meinen Rhythmus, approaching the southern stars. Those who said Europe had fallen to the proles, and the many who said we are going for the children, the nouveau poor and the cheerful shirt-sleeve proles, the children who thought no smoking signs meant mustn't dress for dinner, those who had hopes and those who knew that they were giving up their lives, were becoming the people who would say, and sometimes urge, in the English-speaking years, we came out on the Goya. At last, a low coastline, old horror of Dutch sea captains. Behind it, still unknown, sunburnt farms, stranger trees, family jokes, and all the classes of equality. As it fell away northwards, there was one last week for songs, for dreaming at the rail, for beloved meaningless words. Standing into Port Phillip in the salt grey summer light, the village dissolved into strained shapes holding luggage. Now they, like the dour Australians below them, were facing encounter with the foreign, where all subtlety fails. Those who, with effort, with concealment, with silence, had resisted the collapsed star death, who had clawed their families from it, those crippled by that gravity, were suddenly, shockingly, being loaded aboard lorries. They say another camp. One did not come for this. As all the refitted ships stood oiling in the bay, spectres, furious and feeble, accompanied the trucks through Melbourne. Resignation, understandings, that cheerful speed dispelled at length. That first day rolling north across the bright savannah. Not yet people, but numbers. Population forebears. Bone-Gilla, Nelson Bay, the dry-landed barbed wire ships, from which some would never land. In these, as their parents learnt, the fresh start music, physicians nailing crates, attorneys cleaning trams. The children had one last ambiguous summer holiday. Ahead of them lay the deep end of the schoolyard, tribal testing, tribal soft drinks, and learning English fast, the wang-wang language. Ahead of them, refinements, thumbs hooked down hard under belts to repress gesticulation. Ahead of them, epithets, wog, refo, como, Nazi, things which can be forgotten, but must first be told. And further ahead, in the years of the coffee revolution and the small goods renaissance, the early funerals, the misemployed, the unadaptable, those marked by the abyss, friends who came on the Goya in the mid-year of our century. Les Murray. Lovely. I'll also put the link to that book in the description below. All right, another random one for you. Are you ready? We're going all the way down here to international poetry. And I've come back with, you can never speak up too often for the love of all things. Poems by Paul Fleischman, MD. And he's from Canada on Pariyatti Press, distributed by Pariyatti Press, Onalaska, WA, USA, Washington, USA, 2004. And I guess I'm just going to randomly open it up, like Islands in the Storm looks interesting. Meditation on, we'll go for page 33 because it's kind of a lucky number. Paul R. Fleischman, Islands in the Storm. Dharma Sutama, little meditation centre on the hill among the maples. In Quebec, where everything has two names, there are deer and chevreuils in the woods, students and étudiants in the meditation hall. Whereas, as soon as I speak, someone echoes me in Frankish harmonies. Here, you can inhale the sweet exaltation of grass and trees. The air is scented breath that has been minted inside the bodies of respiring summer foliage. This is the land where Appalachians peter out from their long rumpled folds in the USA. Large lumps of low mountains built up among the flat plateaus. Even the continents were once storm waters, wild, synclines and anticlines eons ago, squirming and buckling on the globe. Now this worn down Northland has just the right incline to hold a meditation centre on its flanks. Dharma Sutama, high and afloat amidst the surf of North America, like an island in the storm. America and Canada collide here sleepily. 10 days of silent sitting, hard and still, 40 people in the small wood-beamed hall, each facing a gale of inner woe and pain with the strength of equanimity, built upon the realization of impermanence of every sensation of the body, mind. Every étudiant here is striving to be an island in the storm. As we meditate day after day, morning, noon and evening, pass us by like sailboats upon an inland sea. We ride the waves together, our multilingual pirate band, holding tight to our seats as we row between the crests of birth and death, stealing golden coins of peace from moments in the squalls of time. Each of us has buried treasure on this island in the storm, upon the round ocean of the world, in India, Nepal, Mongolia, Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia, Germany, France, Japan. Their clocks reversed, their buildings shaped to different architectural design. Other meditation centres house other bands of voyageurs who sail upon the seas of land. An archipelago of meditation centres span the planet now, among the heavy continents where all humanity is born. We are all alone together, living islands in the storm. Wow, like that, definitely. Really like that one. You can never speak up too often for the love of all things. Poems by Paul R. Fleischman, MD. So again, I'll also put a link to that one in the description for you. Rightio. Next, let's go for a random one from Australia, shall we? Yeah, let's go for I know. Over here, we've got our colonial poets. So some of our old stuff. So we'll go for a random one out of, I want to do Adam Lindsay Gordon actually. Adam Lindsay Gordon favourites, and this is one that I picked up down there at the Rotary Book Fair in Armidale this week. So if you are down there, don't forget, you can buy some poetry books and donate them to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Hey, what have we got coming up? Do you know what we got coming up? No, you don't. Yes, you probably do. Ash Grummel, he'll be coming here on the 23rd of June. Yes, it's a Sunday night. Tickets are like between $47 and $52. And you can get them online. They'll be in the link too. I'll put the link down underneath there as well. Check it out because Ash Grummel is really good artist. He's like the modern day Slim Dusty, traveling all around doing gigs in small country towns. And if you miss out, like, oh my God, all your friends will be talking about it and you will not know what you missed. Well, you will, because they'll tell you. Yeah. Adam Lindsay Gordon favourites. And I'm just going to go, again, a pretty random one out of here, I think. Okay, this is Adam Lindsay Gordon's The Last Leap. All is over, fleet career, dash of greyhounds, slipping thongs, flight of falcon, bound of deer, mad hoof thunder out in rear, cold air rushing up our lungs, din of many tongues. Once again, one struggle good, one vain effort he must dwell near the shifted post that stood, where the splinters of the wood lying in the torn tracks tell how he struck and fell. Crest, where cold drops beading cling, small ear drooping, nostril full, glazing to a scarlet ring, flanks and haunches quivering, sinews stiffening, void and null, dumb eyes sorrowful. Satin coat that seems to shine duller now, black braided trees, that a softer hand than mine far away was wont to twine, that in meadows far from this softer lips might kiss. All is over, this is death, and I stand to watch thee die. Brave old horse with bated breath, hardly drawn through tight clenched teeth, lip indented deep, but eye only dull and dry. Musing on the husk and chaff, gathered where life's tares are sown, thus I speak and force a laugh that is half a sneer and half an involuntary groan in a stifled tone. Rest, old friend, thy day through rife with its toil hath ended soon. We have had our share of strife, tumblers in the mask of life, in the pantomime of noon, clown and pantaloon. With the flash that ends thy pain, respite and oblivion blessed, come to greet their eye in vain. Fall I rise to fall again. Thou hast fallen to thy rest, and thy fall is best. The Last Leap by Adam Lindsay Gordon. All right, the next one, or another random one here. Here we go. Here's a little tiny book called Lim Liber. What does it actually mean? Tolai Poems. Lim Liber, Tolai Poems, collected and translated by Murray Russell. Papua Pocket Poets, Port Moresby, 1969. So this is how random it gets. The Tolai language has been called Tolai Kuanua, Tina Ta Tuna, and Guna Tuna. Tolai, the name favoured by the administration, is a form of greeting and means friend. When the missionary George Brown asked the people of the Duke of York Islands who the people were over there, they are said to have replied, Kaunua, which means over there. Their name is favoured by the Methodist mission. The Tolais describe themselves as many people, groups of people in New Guinea do, as the true people living in the true place and possessing the true talk. Their language becomes Tina Tatua, the word used by John Waterhouse and currently favoured by the Catholic mission. Okay, so there we go. This is some poems. I will not try to read the Tolai because it would make no sense. It would be Wawina agina la boka ika kiki tara pe la ra lama. So it wouldn't make any sense, would it? So I'll read the English. It's called La Boca and the Guria earthquake. A woman named La Boca sat under a coconut tree thinking how a Guria would kill all the fish in the sea. Then a Guria started to shake. She gathered her glasses and spear. But when she returned to the beach, not a single dead fish did she see. La Boca went home feeling foolish. She put back her glasses and spear and sat on her mat, sadly dreaming of the fish which was still in the sea. The next one is called The Guria, written by the councillor Tuvuna during the war, and Guria is the earthquake. The Guria started here in the early morning. We were surprised, miserable and crying, "Oh, let it not destroy the land." He who did not go to church called on God. God laughed at him. Here's another one. Beware of the seas which rise up. My good wife, I love you very much. And I was thinking of returning again, and she was crying again. My brother, she was going away. And there you go. Only the pretty sight of the clear sea. I was looking at the flower of a tree floating. Oh, I am continually broken-hearted. Malira. La Majid, so you fight as we meet together again. I'll go. I will try and find a certain person. He will make his arms stiff in a fit, like a hurricane in the sea. Love, goodbye. Yesterday, because of that certain person with the Malira and the magic basket, La Majid, you will remain crying and turning on your pillow. There we go. So that is some Papua New Guinea poems from Lim Liber. Wow, how random, hey? Next one. We'll go down low. Verandas by Jack Kent. Hale and Erromonga Press. Jack Kent's poetry captures the nuances of childhood, adolescence, divorce, abandonment. Contemporary Australian poets. This book was published in... Jack Kent was... Jean Kent, is it? Jean Kent was born in 1951. This was published in 1990, so I'm not even sure if Jean would be alive. Maybe is. Maybe she is. Let's find a poem. Divorce poem for my niece Alicia. Almost 7, delicate as Elysium, greenhouse pale she leans into the light. Already she is lanky as her father was at 10. It is a year since I've seen her. She's learnt to cringe. Her face no longer presses open, like a poppy in the morning. Her parents have moved to separate houses. Soon, in a court of family law, like a clump of old bulbs, they will all be split. No fairy godmother, but I still spell adoption. Seeing her in my mother's garden, wild as a zoo, aping her uncle's games from sly psychology texts, I banish prophecies for broken childhoods. Tell myself in brittle chance, she will turn 7. She'll bring home report cards inky with excellence, despite the dark retreat of her eyes. Almost 7, tender as a seedling in a punnet, like everything else no longer, Elysium yanked out and quarrelled over, prodded at like an aching tooth. almost 7, lanky as her father, delicate as Alyssum. How she leans towards our harsh light. She sprouts like a small white lie to the tip of a tongue, cautiously waits to be weeded out. Charles Buckmaster collected poems. Death of the Ancient Britons. There is a spring for all of us. They're over us and gone. And there is a morning, a magic man, half stoned insane, waves a laurel wreath round and round. For the morning becoming, and summer is coming, round and round, becoming, and spring is death. Written on the 23rd of November, 1968. Death Dance of the Ancient Britons by Charles Buckmaster. All right, let's find another one. Holocaust equals illusions plus smaller realities. The revolution has stagnated. The players return to their own particular structure plus sit, contemplating success or the failure of the production. The construction continues. The audience is asleep. Players unaware. All players plus, as yet, our failure, not fully committed. Written in Goodwood, South Australia, on the 13th of June, 1969, by Charles Buckmaster. Another random one, yes. Down here, what have I got? Here we go. No, I want to do a metaphysical poet. Over here. There it is. Way down there. And I'm back with Penguin Metaphysical Poets. We'll start at the beginning, somewhere early in the beginning. Andrew Marvell, The Fair Singer. To make a final conquest of all of me, love did compose so sweet an enemy, in whom both beauties to my death agree, joining themselves in fatal harmony, that while she with her eyes my heart does bind, she with her voice might captivate my mind. I could have fled from one, but singly fair, my disentangled soul itself might save, breaking the curled trammels of her hair. But how should I avoid to be her slave, whose subtle art invisibly can wreath my fetters of the very air I breathe? It had been easy fighting in some plain where victory might hang in equal choice, but all resistance against her is vain, who haseth advantage of eyes and voice, and all my forces needs must be undone, she having gained both the wind and sun. John Hall, from 1627 to 1656. Gosh, he didn't live very old, did he? Not even 30, 29. This is called The Call by John Hall. Romira, stay, and run not thus like a young roe away. No enemy pursues thee, foolish girl. 'Tis only I'll keep off harms. If thou be pleased to garrison mine arms, what dost thou fear? I'll turn a traitor, may these roses here, and to Palanice shred, and lilies stand disguised in new red. If that I lay a snare wherein thou wouldst not gladly stay, see the sun does slowly to his azure lodging run. Come, sit but here, and presently he'll quit our hemisphere. So still among lovers time is short or else too long. Here we will spin legends for them that have love martyrs been. Here on this plain we'll talk Narcissus to a flower again. Come here and chose on which these proud plats thou would repose. Here mayst thou shame the rusty violets with the crimson flame of either cheek, and primroses white as thy fingers seek. Nay, thou mayst prove that man's most noble passion is to love. And John Hall, The Call. That's another beautiful poem, and I enjoyed reading that one as well. All right, well, I think I'm definitely not out of poems to read, am I? But I'm probably about out of time. So we'll do one more, shall we? Let's go looking. And Sexton. Here we go. I've got one here. Wow, yeah, an American poet. This was a 1962 book, I'm pretty sure. Let me have a look inside. Published by Houghton Mifflin Company, Boston, Live or Die, 1966. All right, let's find Two Sons. Where and to whom you are married, I can only guess. In my piecemeal fashion, I grow old on my bitterness. On the unique occasion of your 2 sudden wedding days, I open some cheap wine, a tin of lobster and mayonnaise. I sit in an old lady's room where families used to feast, where the wind blows like soot from the north-northeast. Both of you monopolised with no real forwarding address, except for 2 silly postcards you bothered to send home. One of them written in Greece, as you undid her dress, in Mexico. The other air-mailed to Boston from Rome. Just before the small ceremony at the American church, both of you made of my cooking those suppers of starch and beef, and with my library, my medicine, my bathwater, both sinking into small brown pools like muddy otters. You make a toast for tomorrow and smash the cup, letting your false women lap the dish I had to fatten up. When you come back, I'll buy a wig of yellow hair. I'll squat in a new red dress. I'll be playing solitaire on the kitchen floor. Yes, I'll gather myself in like cut flowers and ask how you are and where you've been. Written in July the 22nd, 1963, To Live or Die by Anne Sexton. Another lovely poem. I'll mark that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the poetry selection tonight, because I have really enjoyed just randomly pulling them out of here. So I was going to continue with the Henry Lawson, but I'm not, and I didn't. And that's what's happened. We've heard from Sean Neilson, Max Harris, Omar Saka, Les Murray, Adam, Lindsay, Gordoin, and Sexton, some Papua New Guinea, Tokai or something like that. Charles Buckmeister, the metaphysical poets, John Doan and Anne Sexton. All right. Well, we'll see you tomorrow night here for Wednesday Words. Don't forget, it's an open mic night. If you're a musician, you're a poet, get on down here and show it. Show the world. Yeah. All right, I'm Thundercloud, washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rains. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Yeah. Don't forget, subscribe, and then you get acknowledged, or you get notified when we're doing more of these wonderful videos of poets. Yeah. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow night or next week on Chillin Tuesday. Boom.